Hello there, welcome back to Max's Cards and Dice Dugout. Thanks for stopping by. This is episode 226, and this time out we are at Kezar, I believe it's pronounced Kezar Stadium in San Francisco, California for game number 13 of the 1968 Minnesota Vikings Project with Downey Games Momentum Football. Before we get to the game, let's take a look at how the Vikings got to where they are. Well, record 4-6-2, certainly not where they wanted to be. They had an 8-6 record in real life this 1968 season. So we'll see how these last two games go, both on the road. First against the 49ers and then at Franklin Field against the Eagles. Okay, so also, let's take a look at the statistics for the Vikes. What stands out to me, Gene Washington, 14 touchdowns, 892 yards receiving. So he's approaching 1,000. See if he can get there in the next two. Defensively, Paul Krause, 10 interceptions, 2 fumble recoveries. He would go on to be a Hall of Famer. Let's see, 13 team sacks. So they're averaging a little over a sack a game defensively. But they've also given up 14 sacks. So the offensive line has given up a little over 1 a game. Fred Cox almost perfect from the extra point. 28 out of 29 and 15 of 18 on the field goals. Okay, I've already done the prerequisite roles. Starting quarterback for the 49ers is John Brody, and handling the kicking duties will be Tommy Davis. For the Vikings, Joe Kapp gets to start a quarterback, and Bill Martin will be doing the punting in this one. Okay, so we'll see who gets first possession. I just kind of incorporate, coin toss and taking the ball or deferring all into this die roll. I mean, back in those days, everybody took the ball, I think. So anyway, yellow will be, actually we'll go with red. Red will be the 49ers, blue will be the Vikings. And in a tie, the home team, San Francisco, gets the possession. So San Francisco is going to get the opening possession. I see I have these teams in here wrong. San Francisco comes in with a real-life record of 6-5-1. So these are incorrect as well. Both teams do end up with a 2-6 and a 12 for defensive control factor based on their offensive and defensive grades. So San Francisco gets first possession, and San Francisco has a neutral home field advantage to start the game. So San Francisco, first quarter, take 1 off the clock for the kickoff. Neither team has the ability to return a kickoff for a touchdown. The Vikings do have a slight chance to return a punt for a touchdown. All right, so 1 off the clock for the kickoff, first possession for the 49ers. A 5 and a 3 for 8 off the clock. Let's see. We've got a 7, so that goes... we go to momentum on a 7. We're at a 0, so the nod goes to the home team, the 49ers, and it's a 45 coming off their offensive... Oh, sorry, I got to get the time here. So 7, 12, 16, 12, 16. Okay, and that's going to be a key pass. One of the things we don't do too often. So I got to look at that quickly. Excuse me on this. Key pass. Okay, we roll all 4 die again. Look at the blue and the yellow, we get a 64. So that's going to tell us on the key pass a 64 is an interception. No chance for the... Yes, we do have an opportunity for a touchdown. So we'll roll all 4. And it's 43. That's going to be Ed Schrockman. That'll be number 5 for local boy from my hometown. But he does not return an interception for a touchdown, but it does change momentum in the Vikings' favor. And they'll continue on with their first possession. Got a 6 and a 1 for 7 off the clock. 8, 9, 12. That'd be 9:52 in the first. We get a 5. That does fall within San Francisco's defensive control. So a 16 off San Francisco's defensive is another interception. So Joe Cap tosses an INT. And we'll see if San Francisco returns this one. No, but it's going to be Al Randolph. So 2 possessions, 2 interceptions. That's going to shift momentum back to the middle. And San Francisco's next possession here in the first quarter, scoreless. And 5 and a 2 for 7 off the clock. And what do we got? 7, 9, 11, 7:31. We got a 4. That falls within Minnesota's defensive control, and a 25 off of Minnesota's defense, and that's a quarterback sack. So Brody is sacked for a loss of 3 yards. And momentum once again shifts to the Vikings. So defensive struggle so far. Minnesota's next possession, 6 and 1, 7 off the clock. We got 8, 14. That'd be at 5:14 in the first. We have a 2. That does fall within San Francisco's defensive control, so 66. It's going to be a Joe Cap touchdown pass. And that one's going to go to Bill Brown. And it's a 6-yard pass. And Fred Cox out for the extra point. And that's good. And the Vikings lead 7-0. And that shifts momentum +2 for the Vikings. San Francisco's next possession. We take 1 off the clock for the kickoff. Got a 6 and a 2 for 8 off the clock. Eight, 14, 16, be 2-16 in the first. And we have a 10. That does 10 on the yellow and blue. That does not fall within the Vikings' defensive control. And a 42 off of San Francisco's offensive column is a punt. So Minnesota takes over. Late in the first quarter. Got a 4 and a 2 for 6 off the clock. 6, 8, 10. So that would be 10 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Got a 4. That falls within San Francisco's defensive control. And a 24 is another quarterback sack. This time it's Joe Cap going down. And that was for 5 yards. And that shifts momentum back one towards neutral. And San Francisco's going to get the ball in the second quarter here. We got a 3 and a 2 for 5 off the clock. Two, 4, 6, 9, 13:29. Got a 5, falls within Minnesota's defensive control, and a 22 is another interception. And getting this one, Paul Krause, number 11 for him. Shifts momentum back. Minnesota's ball. They lead 7-0. Next possession for the Vikings. 6 and a 3 for 9 off the clock. 14, 17, 10:37 in the second. And we have a 9. That does not fall within San Francisco's defensive control. And the 53 is going to be a Fred Cox field goal attempt. All right. And that field goal is good. And let's get the distance of it. 3 times 4 is 12, plus 14, plus 17. It's a 31-yarder. Vikings already have the lead, so that does not shift momentum. They already have it at a +2. And they now lead 10-0. Take one off for the kickoff. San Francisco. And next possession, we got a 4 and a 1 for 5 off the clock. 7, 8, 10. At 8:30 in the second. Got a 6. That falls within Minnesota's defensive control. And a 31 is a quarterback sack. Purple People Eaters are getting at John Brody in this one. And Brody, 6 yards. So 6 yards behind the line of scrimmage, Brody is sacked. Minnesota already is +2 on the defense, or excuse me, on the momentum. And they're going to get the ball again here. Second quarter, leading 10-0. Got a 5 and a 1 for 6 off the clock. And 15, 16, 6:36 in the second. And we have a 10. That does not fall within San Francisco's defensive control. So 51 off the Vikings offense, and that's going to be another Fred Cox field goal attempt. Field goal is good. It's 20, 26, 28, 38, 45. It's a 45-yard field goal. He can't kick a field goal longer than his season long, and his season long was 45. So splits the uprights on that long one, and it's now 13-0 Vikings. Next possession for San Francisco. We take one off the clock for the kickoff and roll for their possession. We get a 6 and a 1 for 7. (10, 16, 17, 3:57). We get a 7. So that is momentum. Vikings have momentum. So we're going to look at a 64 off the Vikings defensive control chart, and it is a John Brody touchdown pass. And catching that one, John David Crow. So Crow with the touchdown. And the point after from Tommy Davis is good. So San Francisco gets on the board, and it's 13-7. Minnesota will get another possession. Take one off the clock for the kickoff. And here we go. So we get a 6 and a 2 for 8. Eight, 11, 14, 54 seconds before halftime. Get a 5. That does fall within San Francisco's defensive control, and a 63 off of their chart is another Joe Cap touchdown pass. And we'll see what happens here. Bill Brown, that's his second touchdown pass in this game. And that's good for 7 yards. Cox's extra point. Is good. Just sneaks it in there. And it's now 20-7 in favor of the Vikings. San Francisco's going to get the last possession here. We take one off the clock and roll for possession. Get a 6 and a 1 for 7. And they run out of time. Okay, so San Francisco's final possession goes to 0. And it's end of half. So at halftime, it's the Vikings 20, the 49ers 7. Minnesota will get the ball to start the second half. Take one off the clock for kickoff. And we continue on. We get a 6 and a 1 for 7. Twelve, 13, 17, 12:37 in the third. Okay, we got a 12. That does fall within San Francisco's defensive control, and a 41 is a punt. So San Francisco takes over. 6 and a 3 for 9. Twelve, 15, 20. It's going to be right at 9:40. And what do we got here? We got a 9. That does not fall within Minnesota's defensive control, so it's going to come off of San Francisco's offense. And a 65 is another John Brody touchdown pass. And that would be to Clifton McNeil for 7 yards. And Tommy Davis, point after. Just sneaks it in there. It's good. And it's now 20-14. And that shifts momentum back over. Minnesota gets the ball. 1 off the clock for kickoff. And what do we get here? We get a 6 and a 1 for 7. $10, $15, $16, $6.56 in the third. We get a 5. That does fall within San Francisco's defensive control. And a 56 is a touchdown run. And scoring that touchdown run is going to be Bill Brown. Bill Brown having quite the game offensively. And that was a 4-yard run. And Cox come out for the point after. And it's good. So it's now 27-14 in favor of the Vikings. Momentum shifts back over to a +2. San Francisco gets the ball. 1 off the clock for the kickoff. And here we go. 5 and a 3 for 8. It's 10, 16. That'd be 356 in the third. What do we got? We got an 8. That does not fall within Minnesota's defensive control. And a 53 for San Francisco is going to be a field goal attempt. Tommy Davis comes out for the field goal. And it is no good. In fact, nope, it's not blocked, but it is no good. Momentum would shift for the Vikings, but they already have the +2. So next possession for Minnesota, leading 27-14. 4 and a 1 for 5 off the clock. 8, 10, 11. 2 minutes and 11 seconds. And we have a 6. Falls within San Francisco's defensive control. 14's an interception. Another Joe Cap INT. Will it be run back for a touchdown? No. But it is intercepted by Kermit Alexander. Was that 3 interceptions for Cap? 1. 2. Anyway, that shifts momentum over 1 for the 49ers. And they get possession. Trailing 27-14 here late in the third. We got a 6 and a 1 for 7 off the clock. 11, 12, 13. So at 13 seconds in the third quarter, we get a 2, falls within Minnesota's defensive control, and a 56 is a field goal attempt. Tommy Davis back out. No good. So Minnesota shifts the momentum again with the missed field goal. This is going to take us into the fourth quarter. We got a 5 and a 2 for 7. And we're in the fourth. Okay, we get a 10. That does not fall within San Francisco's defensive control. And a 22 is a quarterback sack. 10, 14, 12, 34. Joe Cap goes down again for 1 yard. That shifts momentum over 1 for the 49ers, and they get possession. And what do we get here? A 6 and a 2 for 8 off the clock. Eight does not fall within the Vikings' defensive control, and a 32 is a punt. That was what? 8, 11, 13, 9:53. It's a punt. And let's see what did Minnesota have in 20. You got 7 in the third. San Francisco got 7 in the third. Okay. So now it's the Vikings' next possession here in the fourth quarter, leading 27-14. Get a 6 and a 1 for 7. And 9, 10, 13, 7:33 left in the game. Get a 7. That goes to the team with momentum. That's going to be the Vikings. A 33 off of their offensive chart is a punt. And San Francisco gets possession. 4 and a 1 for 5 off the clock. Got a 4 falls within Minnesota's defensive control, and a 42 is a punt. So teams are exchanging punts here. 6, 7, 10, 5:50. Hey, Minnesota's next possession. 49ers are running out of time. We got a 6 and a 2 for 8. $12, 14, 16, 3:16 in the game. Get a 12. Does fall within San Francisco's defensive control. And a 22 is another Joe Cap sack. Six yards. Shifts momentum. San Francisco has the ball. Time winding down. You got a 3 and a 1 for 4 off the clock. 4, 7, 8. 1:48. Get a 4. Falls within the Vikings' defensive control. And a 13 is a fumble. And let's see what happens here. Well, there's no chance for a touchdown return. Let's see who got it. Ursel Maccabee. Or Maccabee, excuse me. It's going to shift momentum back to the Vikings. And let's see, we get a 4 and a 2 for 6 off the clock. And that's it. So the Vikings run out the clock to end the game. And they win this one, 27-14. No scoring in the fourth quarter. And the final was 27-14. Vikings go to 5, 6, and 2. And have a chance to win their last one against the Eagles at Franklin Field in game number 14. If you hung out with me, I appreciate it. That's going to do it for this one, and I'll be back again in the near future with another video. And until then, take care.